There he is.
What's
Welcome.
up? What's up?
Man, I'm super excited to have you as part of our podcast and as one of the athletes that have been on the platform for almost the longest. So it's a great honor to have you in our episode 1 of the podcast. Thanks for joining us.
Of course, I'm glad to be here. Excited to talk about things going on.
It's great. Let me give our audience a little bit of an intro. So you are the Hebrew Hammer, and you're a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu athlete and a bantamweight MMA fighter. So you have an upcoming fight, I think, on June the 5th.
Yep, this Saturday.
With Tim McNamara. Are you going to win?
Yeah, that's always.
Fantastic. Great. Before we get into it, I also want to mention that you have the experience store set up on the SPRTER app, so anyone wants to join and book an experience with you, such as a personalized Zoom call, question answers, any of those aspects, head over to the SPRTER app and check out Josh, aka the Hebrew Hammer, on the SPRTER app. So let's get started. How did you start your professional career? Where did you get your idea as in, hey, I'm going to be a fighter?
So, I mean, I get the entire journey has been since I started, put my first wrestling singlet on when I was 8 years old. So I wrestled all the way through college, went to Rhode Island College, and then my senior year, I tore my meniscus. Going into during the district tournament and region, so I was really in a dark spot, and I was sidelined. My high school career was done. Wasn't really sure where I was going to go wrestle in college or not. And then it came time for me fitting into my prom tux, and I was pretty overweight. So I needed to find something to motivate myself. And during that time in high school was when Ultimate Fighting, UFC, MMA really got big. The Ultimate Fighter was out there, so I was watching that all the time. Saw jiu-jitsu. I'm like, you know what? I'm a wrestler. So I looked out, found this local jiu-jitsu tournament, and I was like, you know what? The only way I'm going to fit into my tux, if I go out there, make weight, compete. It was a great time. I went out, won my first jiu-jitsu tournament, strictly just knew how to wrestle. So then when I went to college, I redshirted my freshman year, and I found a local jiu-jitsu school. And I started doing more tournaments and all that. I wrestled for a year the following year, and then I did my amateur debut that summer. Fought. I mean, I got my butt kicked, but it was definitely it opened up my eyes. Like, wow, I don't have to just wrestle. Now these kids these days are getting a lot more opportunities to make some of themselves in wrestling, because at the end of the day, you either go to the Olympics, you wrestle D1, and that's it. Then you go to coaching and all that kind of stuff. So I needed to find something that was going to keep me motivated and keep me active. Wrestling, it was a lot for me in school. So then I decided to go pro when I was turning 21 years old. March 2012, I went pro for Coliseum to the Cage up in New Hampshire. And I won by 7-second knockout. And I was only 4 fights in. So it was a great eye-opening. I was like, you know what, I'm in. If I'm going to make weight, I'm going to get paid. And it kept on going from there, man. But yeah, I mean, I've been at it for a while. I mean, I guess, like I said, since I'm 5, but it's the only thing I do. I'm 29 years old. I'm entering my prime, and I'm not really going to slow down. Switching the avenues where I'm going, but still a lifelong martial artist, and we're just getting the party started.
That's awesome. I mean, 7-second knockout in the first fight ever is pretty impressive.
My first pro.
I
had 4 amateur fights before that, but yeah, my pro debut knocked the dude out in 7 seconds. It was a great feeling, and
transitioning from that, as in, hey, 7 seconds, I mean, that must have been an amazing height, as in, like, wow, this is awesome. So how's the second fight? Was that a knockout as well? Did that go longer? What was the change there?
It was a drastic change, because then after that, obviously, I had a 7-second knockout. I thought I was the king. I didn't think anyone. I was 21 years old, ready to go. I walked out. I wasn't even that healthy going into that fight. That week, I tore my meniscus again in my other knee. So I couldn't even run. It was a really tough weight cut. So I took about 8 months off. And then I returned the following June at Mohegan Sun for Reality Fighting. And I took a fight against Johnny Lopez, a very, very seasoned guy. He was 30 at the time, or 32 years, so around there. very good on the ground, very tough. And you know what? Like everyone's like, dude, I don't know if this is a good fight for you. I was like, yo, I want to know. I'm trying to get in and get out and, do what I got to do. I took that fight and I was winning that fight. And then I went from my pro win being 7-second knockout to opening sequence. I had Johnny hurt, broke his nose. Everything was going crazy. I'm thinking like, oh my God, here we go again. And then I got myself into trouble and he got me into a knee bar that I've never got into a position like that since. So that was 2013. Thank you, Johnny Lopez. But he took my leg home that night. I've not let someone take my leg home. So it was a learning experience. But, yeah, I went from being on the top to being on the bottom real quick. But that's the name of the game. That's the sport of MMA. All it takes one shot.
And I think that's a great learning experience in saying, okay, well, we haven't been at the height, at the low, and then how do I take it from there, and how do I transition out? I know you're a coach as well. How did you get into coaching? How do you apply some of those learning moments to your students as well?
So I think that is one of the biggest things. I am making the progression out of fighting MMA fully. There is always a talk about, you know what, I am 29 years old, and do I have one more fight? Yeah, but right now I've been really diving into the coaching aspect of it. And honestly, ever since, even as a young kid, I was always helping out my brother. I was always asking to be coaching on the baseball team, or I was coming back for the winter and I was helping coaching with the high school and all that kind of stuff. And then 2014, I took my first official coaching job as the Old Bridge Matt Rat wrestling rec coach. I've been in Old Bridge now since then with the high school and stuff. But I think I've always been a better teacher than an actual performer myself. And I like to think I've competed with the best in a lot of different disciplines, but I know I can go hand for hand for coaching. And I like to really, like, I talk to my students and my competitors and stuff like, listen, I know how you feel today. You know, when you have to cut that weight, when you have to go back in that tub and you have to get that sauna, when all your buddies are going out that night, but you're deciding to stay home watching tape, I've been there. And I think a lot of the things that I've learned from my coaches, I've had some great coaches in my life, from wrestling, boxing, jiu-jitsu, everything. I wanted to be them. And if I didn't feel like I wanted to be them, I moved. And I did that a ton of times for my career. And that's what I tell my guys right from the jump. If you're wrestling for me, doing jiu-jitsu for me, you want to fight for me, I don't mess around. I tell you how it is when you need to hear it. Because sometimes you just have to know, you have to trust the guy. You know what I mean? I've knocked somebody out in 7 seconds. I've been knocked out in 10. There's literally highs and lows, but that's the name of the game. And as long as you're getting better, you're moving on. So a big thing that I've learned younger in my career, and I tell each of my students, if you wake up in the day, you need to be able to look in yourself in the mirror and say what you're going to do today to make yourself better. And by the end of the night, if you don't get to go look in that mirror and follow that up with like, all right, I did this to make myself better, then it was a failed day. And that goes beyond the room. That could be taking an extra run. That could be just doing a little extra homework if you have to worry about your grades because you might not be able to wrestle that match or whatever it is. But I just love being a part of the process and being there for the first person. If you lost, I'm going to catch you. But when you win, I'm going to be right there with your hand up too. And that's it, man. I love it, all aspects of it.
And that's great to show that support. Obviously, you've been influenced by a lot of people in your career as well. Do you want to give them a shout out, as in who is that one person that you always remember today? This is the one quote that sticks out.
There's, like I said, I've been in front of everybody, and I've had great coaches, Hall of Fame coaches. When I was wrestling, when I come up, I went to the same wrestling club that Frankie Edgar did. I saw Frankie when he was rising, getting the title, and I was seeing him sweating on the other side of the room, and I was just a little kid, like, oh my God, that's Frankie Edgar. Like, that's a guy that is local, and he did amazing things. But really, honestly, like, there's so many people that I've met, but like right now, my head coach, Stephen Barnett, I'm a brown belt underneath him. I've been, ever since I made the full commitment to jiu-jitsu and fighting, he's been in my corner. The man is half in New Jersey, half the year, and half in Puerto Rico because he went out and he doesn't stop. And he kind of has the same mentality as me. Like, there's always something to do better, and that's what he does. He doesn't let anything slow him down. He's always learning to learn, and he's always asking all the little questions, and he breaks down on the technique. But at the end of the day, I know I can pick up my phone, and he's an answer. And that's where I go off with me. Like, I want all my fighters and all my athletes and all my members that I just coach for cardio kickboxing. If they need something, they can call me. I'm going to answer and guide them. So there's so many people, but everyone has You know, we like to say Hammer Nation, but it's not just one person. It's not just me. It's everyone. Everyone helps me out.
It takes a few people to form a nation, so that totally makes
It takes a
sense.
village, man.
Yeah. We now have a segment that we call Pro Advice, where we actually ask people up front, as in send us some questions that they want to hear your perspective on. So we have 2 submissions here that we thought of phenomenal, and people really want to hear. As in, the first one is, I want to play professional at my sport one day. What should I do to put myself in the best position to achieve that dream?
So that is an open-ended question because everything is different for each sport. It's just doing the right things, man, and it starts at a young age. Like a lot of kids always wanted to be, you know, I had dreams of being a professional baseball player. That wasn't ever going to happen, but I always try to surround myself in goals. And as I went into my athletic career, I put myself into the same room as somebody that is successful because I can look at them. Write down your goals every day and do like I said, every day, regardless of where you want to be a professional athlete. What did you do that day to get yourself better? Did you look at some other professional baseball players or whatever sport that you are in? Go out to seminars, go find out spots. When you're looking for colleges, go see as many different colleges as you can. Just be open to, don't be narrow-minded, think you know the way, because I can tell you every year goes by, there's a different option for you. Open-mindedness is the best part.
Open mind is great advice. Thank you. And we have a second submission. I'm feeling burned out, particularly now with COVID. I'm losing motivation to continue with the sport. How do I really get myself up in the morning? And is there some specific motivational technique that you could potentially recommend for someone who's just feeling that drag at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, I can feel that drag. That's how we all for a year. But it looks like the brighter days have come. And honestly, during the whole pandemic, every day I went to bed and I was like, oh my God, I can't go to the gym today. I can't open up the business that I've done so hard to get going. Just stay positive. Honestly, regardless, there's always going to be tough times in your life, but there's always going to be after that. And then if you're not ready to go, so just because you can't do anything right today doesn't mean you can't get ready for tomorrow. And stay active, stay ready, because when you do get that opportunity, you need to be able to take it. You don't want to be getting an opportunity and say, oh, I'm not ready to take it. Always be ready.
Okay, always be ready and look at the options. I think that's great advice. Thank you. Now we transition into some questions about your teammates and people that you've fought. And who's the most impressive fighter that you've ever either fought or trained with? And I know you touched on some of those before.
So, I mean, there's a lot of good guys out there. If you look at my MMA record, all my losses are to guys that even went to the Bellator, UFC, C, and all that kind of stuff. So that is good. My last match, September 19th of 2019, before the pandemic, I fought for the Men of War title against Frank Rosenthal, the number 10 black belt in the world. He's definitely the number 1 guy I've been on the mat. We went the full time limit, no subs, lost a decision. But I think that was the moment right there that was like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm right there. I was just believing in myself a little more and go out there. But yeah, I'd say Frank Rosenthal definitely.
And obviously going a long way, that going to full time against him. I mean, that shows obviously also something about you. As in, right, he someone that impressive didn't take you down. That's awesome as well. Who's your favorite person to practice, and what is it about them that helps you improve?
Honestly, right now, my best training partner is one of my students, Ben Sullivan. This kid, honestly, right after this, I get to tell him, hey, you got to put your stuff on. I got to roll around a little bit. But the thing that makes me feel like Ben is ready to go, one, he knows that I have his back and he has my back. He's learning. And even though he's at a blue belt stage, right now when I roll with him and I'm teaching him something, it opens up my eyes too. So sometimes when I'm creating scrambles, oh, we can do this, we can do that, whatever, but he's going to go as hard as I need him to go regardless. And that's what I like it. Yes, you want to train with tougher guys, but you also want to know that someone that, one, knows your style, knows the pace that you want to go to. So he definitely, I don't think he knows it, but he does a lot for me. And the 22-year-old kid has a bright future for himself to keep on taking the beatings that he has to take from me. Eventually we'll give him out.
All right, that's an awesome shout out. He must be proud of that. We got another segment called Locker Room Banter. And I mean, locker room is probably a little bit different in terms of the individual sport or the team sport, but I think we all have that type of, you know, you're training, you have a little bit of banter with your friends and your teammates and so on. So what is your favorite memories that comes with a teammate or a training partner that's outside of competing, and what memories come to mind?
So my first thing that comes to my mind is when I was in high school, and every summer, again, I was on a very good team, but every summer we would go to a wrestling camp. Every year was a different college. So we went to Lock Haven, Millersville, Shippensburg, and Rutgers throughout my 4 years. But regardless, we would have a lot of wrestling. But as soon as we got back to the dorms, it was the best time. There's a lot of hazing and stuff going on, but there were some scenarios, and it was all bonding, man. It's just like my entire wrestling team, we wrestled from 5, 6 years old all the way to 18. So we were brothers. So there was times where we were having pillow fights going out in the middle. We were playing dodgeball with like basketballs in the dorms, putting all that kind of stuff. There was one time, and he's actually one of my best friends, and he's I hope he's listening. He got the caution taped together, and we put him in the shower. And he's a big guy. He was a 220-pounder, but again, we were underclassmen, so we did what we had to do to be part of the team. And he just was like flopping around, rolling around. But man, it was just like you didn't know what was going to happen next. Like you didn't know. Like I had one time we were a powerhouse team, but we were getting ready for the state final one day, and someone was hiding in like a container. And then as soon as the refs came in and the other team came in, he popped out and just started like singing and yelling at everybody in his underwear. It was odd. We were definitely a weird group of people. But
weird people create awesome memories generally.
Yeah, but that was the thing. We grinded together, but then we had fun, and it definitely showed. Success showed.
That's awesome. Now, given COVID is the gorilla in the room, how has it impacted your schedule and the one thing in terms of fighting, and is it slowly getting back to normal? I mean, you're fighting professionally, but in terms of training, in terms of teaching and going coaching?
So, I mean, here in New Jersey, we are open as of last week, fully, basically, and this Friday, the last restrictions are popping up. But prior to that, man, it was a dicey one. I started my COVID experience as in last year in March. Me, my wife, my best buddy, and his fiance, we went to Dominican Republic right before all the country shut down. And it happened on our flight. Like, we were there, and all our flights got canceled. We didn't know we were coming home. So from that moment, I was like, oh, my God, COVID's real. I don't know what's going on. We got home, and then, like I said, I run a gym and everything like that. My doors were shut. We couldn't get in, couldn't have a job. I had nowhere to train. I had 4 fights scheduled already for grappling matches throughout 2020, and all of them got scratched. Some of them got rescheduled, and hopefully we were going to go, but they weren't going. And then that was another reason why. So, like, all my training for solid 3 months was just me and Ben coming into the gym. It would just be us. I'd open the door, we'd get in our training, get in out. We started doing outside training, but there was, until I think like last September, there was really no jiu-jitsu classes going on. And we kept on going. And then, like, as things restricted, we were allowed to start moving around. And then we had this year, I've already had 2 fighters fight. I had one in February and one a couple weeks ago. But like I said, I'm fighting this Saturday. I got a couple other students fighting at the end of the month. I got a guy in July. So everything is opening up around us. Hopefully it stays that way. It stunk because I went from every day knowing I was able to work out in some way or not to doing Zoom classes with my students, teaching them how to choke a pillow. It was just, but it is what it is, man. You can evolve or get passed over, and that's exactly. And I think it made me. I haven't competed in 19 months, but I think it made me the best I am because I want to give my body a rest. But I also just got back into the sport. I just broke it down. I had nothing to really train for. I just knew I had to be ready for when the day comes. And that's what happened here. I got the call 3 weeks ago, and I said, let's go. Let's get it. I've been waiting. I've been ready. I'm in good shape. So, yes, it stunk, but I think things behind us.
Awesome. Now, when you're talking about breaking it down, we have a segment called Break the Rules, where we ask you to change a rule in MMA that you think would make the sport better.
So that's It's a loaded question. So I would say the number. I'd like, everyone does hard, but I would like open scoring in MMA, as in, so in between the rounds, who judged the round, because just how bad judging can be sometimes, people can get really shocked. And this won't really change the effectiveness of judging. This will just change the outlook of the fighter. So if you think you're up 2-0, but you're actually down 0-2, going into that third round is going to change the game. And Invicta has been showing it, and other couple promotions have been playing with it. I think Professional Fighters League does it too, but I think that would be that and the 12-6 elbow. I think that should be allowed, because if I'm allowed to kick you, punch you, knee you in the face, I don't see the difference. The top of my elbow. Those are the two things I'll change. Everything else is good. Everything else keeps us safe.
All right. Well, the last one does sound like it's going to hurt. So
yeah, but there's no difference between my shin and my elbow. That's my way to look at
it. That is absolutely. I guess that's true. Yeah. I do want to do a hat trick with you. Basically, 3 questions pulled from a hat, as they say. And so, if you're in a concert, are you in the VIP or the pit?
I'm not a big concert guy, but I'm the pit, just because I'm cheap.
You're in the pit, okay. What's your favorite movie of all times?
See, there's so many. It has to be one of the Adam Sandlers. But we're gonna go Waterboy, just because I just watched it.
Okay, solid choice. And if you had a superpower, what would it be if you could choose?
It'd definitely be flying. I'm stuck in my car too much in traffic and stuff. Get out.
Fair enough. That I love. I mean, flying sounds like a really solid choice right there. Now you're going up for your fight against Tim McNamara on June 5th. How are you getting mentally prepared for this?
So it's definitely different, because like I said, it's a jiu-jitsu match. It's a rule set I've done before. Again, I just tell myself every day, this is something that you've been doing since you're 5. It's another match. Nothing worst can happen is he makes me tap, but I don't see that's how it goes. Again, every day I've been waking up saying, how am I going to get better? Keeping my weight down, making sure I have the right workouts, keep my body right. I have a physical therapist on my team and all that kind of stuff. So just mentally, man, I'm excited. I'm very excited to get back to action on Saturday. Now, regardless of what the outcome is, obviously I'm coming for the W, but mentally I'm ready. I'm excited to have some just fun and compete again. It's been a long 19 months.
I can imagine. Now, do you check out your competitors? Do you check their social media? Do you do some of that research? And what are they doing? Are they sharing anything on Insta story? Are they in a good shape? Do you do any of those things?
Yeah, I get the matchup across, and you have to do your due diligence. You can't just take a fight without really kind of knowing what's going on. I'm at the point in my career that all guys I face are going to be a high-level competitor, and they're all going to be good. So it can't be like, oh my God, this guy's good, and I don't think I can hang with him. He's very good. Tim's a very seasoned man. He's a little older. He's been doing this a long time. He has a black belt in judo. He's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. He trains with a lot of good guys up in the city, and he competes a lot. And he didn't let the pandemic slow down. And it's just, I watch the tape and I've seen it before, and I'm sure he has some tricks up his sleeve, but so do I. And that's what it is. Jiu-jitsu is a chess match. We're bending body parts the wrong way, and whoever can get to it first wins.
Okay. Well, I guess you don't want to share your stories of your insights and what you have up your sleeve, but we're excited to check it out on Saturday. Saturday, the 5th.
Yeah.
Saturday. No, we're excited to check it out. Where can people watch it?
So so if you would like to come, it's $20 at the door in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, at the Finishers HQ. But Finishers MMA is actually putting it live on YouTube too. So I'll be sharing all that stuff. I'm the 10th match of the night. First match is at 6. but it's a cool atmosphere. It's their first super fight show. They do like these little other tournaments and shows constantly, but this is their first show, and they brought some good talent. Of course, I mean, I'm on it, so they're bringing the best of the best. But it's gonna be a good show. It's Mortal Kombat theme. It's called Combat, so I think that's cool too. But it's live on YouTube.
Okay, we've got to make sure we'll link that out as well. And anyone following, make sure to check out Hebrew Hammer MMA. You got also the website. You got Hammer Trained for anyone who's interested in coaching. Is that right?
So yeah, so I work at Depth Performance Training, and I have Hammer Sports Performance in there. We do jiu-jitsu classes, cardio classes, kettlebell classes, all that kind of stuff. Anyone interested in taking a class, I do off-site training, beach track workouts, anything you can think of. So hammertrain.com. It'll show you everything that we got. All my contact info is there. But yeah.
And virtual pillow choking is what I heard.
Yeah, I do one-on-one. You put a gi on your pillow, and then you're good. If you have someone at home, that works too. But
awesome. Also make sure to check out any of Josh's experience store within the SPRTER app, because you have some awesome experiences there as well, and getting to know you a little bit better and learning more about the sport as well. So for our audience that's there, make sure to head over there, get the app, download SPRTER, and follow Josh and other awesome athletes there. Now, anything that you want to add for your fight against Tim? We know where to follow. We know who to support, obviously.
Yeah. No, there's not much. I mean, like I'm just excited that competitions are back, and I'm getting phone calls every day for either myself or my fighters. It's time to get work. But this Saturday night, right at the Finishers HQ, I keep on telling my friends, man, there's not a cheaper time to come watch me compete. It's normally $60 plus to get a ticket, $20 at the door. It's right, first come, first serve for the seating. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna be fun, and I can't wait. Hammer time's back, baby.
Sounds like a steal. Last question I have: what's your walk-up music? What gets you fired up?
So I did find it. It's called Hammer Time by Lecrae. Obviously, I found that a couple fights ago, and we're rolling with that now.
All right, that sounds awesome. Thanks so much for joining us on our first ever SPRTER podcast, episode 1. Many more to come, and make sure everyone to follow Josh Baker, aka the Hebrew Hammer.
Thanks for having me, guys. It's great.
Thanks. Take it easy and good luck.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Talk to you later.
All right. Bye.
Bye.